claim to be the creator, but I'm a savior. I take the strange variables of human life and make something out of the crazy quilt that saves hundreds of lives.
Happy Sunday fun day, y'all. Welcome to another digital release reviews. As always, before I start, I gotta warn everybody, mild spoilers for these reviews. This week I am reviewing Wonka, starring Timothy Chalamet as Wonka. And it's a story, an origin story, basically Willy Wonka's origin story. Oh boy. I went into this really reserved because, I mean, anybody my age, we grew up watching Willy Wonka, and it's just one of those movies that you saw as a kid that was, you know, it was magical. You know, it wasn't like it was, you know, there was not amazing CGI or kind of effects like there was nowadays, or the production value was a little smaller, but it was still a cute movie, and it was one of those things that, I mean, most kids, they watched it, you know, and they knew what Willy Wonka was and whatnot. And I personally didn't enjoy Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp. I think it was just a little too over the top. But I appreciated the fact that they, you know, it was a continuation from Willy Wonka, and that's actually Charlie grown up with the factory now that he owns. So I didn't know what to expect from this, and to be honest with you, I was nervous. When the movie starts out, it really bothered me right away, because the first line out of Timothy Chalamet's mouth, he's singing, and right away I thought, this is Sweeney Todd all over again. This is a musical, and I got nervous. But it wasn't a musical. There are musical numbers in this, like there should be, of course, but it's not a musical. Hugh Grant has a small but very important role in the movie. I want to talk about this first. He plays the Oompa Loompa. He has voiced his displeasure in many interviews, many interviews, about how he hated working on his fucking movie. I personally do not like actors that do that. Not when the movie hasn't come out, not when the movie is, you know, during the promotion of it, or even if it's been a year. If you want to talk shit about a movie you did, about how much you hated working on a movie, I mean, let it at least be 5 to 6, maybe 10 years go by before, like, oh yeah, that movie I did so long ago sucked ass because of this. Like, Hugh Grant was trashing this movie before it was even out in theaters. I don't have respect for actors that do that. I mean, this is still an industry, and people worked hard on this movie, and people need to get paid. It's just like any industry. You go to work, people are trying to make a profit. Wherever you work at, you're trying to sell things. You're trying to give the best product. How are you giving the best product and ensuring that the audience is going to go watch it if one of your actors is saying that they fucking hate it working on it? I didn't like it. Whatever. He has a small role. It's an important role. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I don't know. That just kind of pisses me off, and I just wanted to talk about that first before I went on. Timothy Chalamet, of course, is amazing in this. I gotta say that he's got a very promising future in Hollywood. You know, I liked him in Dune. I've seen him in other movies. He's really good, and he's got a very interesting face, I'll tell you that. And I think that Hollywood needs more people like that, because that's getting very generic. But yes, I like Chalamet. It's not just his look, he's just an amazing actor. His personality comes out and shines in everything he fucking does in this movie. Even there's a lot of emotional scenes with Wonka too, involving his mom. I'm not going to spoil too much of it, but basically he is you know, an orphan, and there's this other little girl, Kala Lane, who plays this little girl named Noodle. She's also an orphan, and they've both been basically trapped or tricked into signing these contracts. They stay at this hotel, and the hotel owners make them sign a contract with fine print on it, small print on it. They don't read the small print. And there's another thing, Willy Wonka can't read, which is another thing in the movie. It's kind of weird, but you know, he starts learning how to read and stuff, sort of, but he doesn't know how to read. And yeah, there's all these extra fees, and at the end of the day, when they go to check out, they can't pay for all these extra fees, and they're forced to work forever there for these workers. And so that's basically the kind of plot of the movie, and he's trying to make chocolates and become a millionaire or whatever. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but the bad guys are actually these three, I guess, the top chocolate store owners in this city they're in, this pretend city they're in. And they just don't want Willy Wonka to sell chocolates because they know he's got the best chocolates. And so they're very evil, and they do everything they can to try to stop them. They're played by Matthew Baton, Patterson Joseph. I don't know these guys' names, I'm sorry, but I do know Matt Lucas. He's that comedian that came out in Little Britain, and you know, he's a wonderful Britain comedic actor. I love him, and of course he outshines the other two actors every time he's in the scene. He just has these one-liners, or you know, kind of states the obvious, and it's just really hilarious in this. There's also another bad guy in this, and it's played by Keegan Michael Key, and he plays this corrupt cop who's actually addicted to chocolate, and so that's how they kind of bribe and pay for him, you know, to do the dirty work and whatnot. And he also tries to sabotage Wonka from making chocolates. There's another couple of cameo roles and a couple of actors I didn't want to mention because they're kind of surprised. I was surprised to see this. I didn't see the trailers or anything like that. So you know, there's other people in this that you might remember or see, and they do great in this. I mean, everyone here in this movie does great. This movie has like a magical Harry Potter type of feel to it. It is, I believe it is a Warner Brothers production, but it's very magical in it. And I like this type of movie where you could just sit down and get taken to another world. It's a world where there's people in it, yeah, and there's things that are in our world, but it's not our world. It's different. You can eat a piece of chocolate and you'll start floating or some craziness like that. I think one of the explanations during one of the scenes was that there's this bug that he caught, and he put a beetle or something that he puts in it, and so that's why they start flying. And he goes, well, how do we get down? Well, the beetle eventually will find its way out. And they're all like, oh, we have to fart it out. And it's fucking stupid, but it's kind of funny. It's similar stuff to what happened in the original and whatnot. Like I said, Chow Mei is amazing. This kid has a bright future in Hollywood. And you know, my final verdict, to be perfectly honest with you, is that it's a kids movie. It's a kids movie, and it's not a bad one. I guess I recommend it if you need to put something on for the kids, or even if you're just curious. I mean, I was curious. I wanted to see what the fuck, if I was really gonna hate this or not. It's not bad. It's not bad. Is it Willy Wonka? Yeah and no. I mean, yeah, I guess it is, man. Obviously we have more technology than they did back then when they made that old movie. So it does look more shinier and whatnot. But yes, it is Willy Wonka. You know, there could have been other people they could have chosen, but I don't know if their personalities would have come out as well as Timothy's does. I can't praise this kid enough. And it's an enjoyable flick. It doesn't need to make sense. Like I said earlier, all it needs to really do, a movie like this, is just take you into some other world for like an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, whatever. But that's exactly what this film does. So, you know, watch it if you feel like it. It's not a bad movie. It's not. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. So yeah, watch it if you feel like it. It's pretty much what I say. You know, it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. Not at all. But with that being said, I do want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and try to join us sometime. Friday nights, 7:30, we do the live broadcast. You know, it's a lot of fun, and catch you next week.